and welcome to another episode of Xact Hacks, brought to you by Actionable Insights. My name is Seth Harrison, and today I want to talk about curved decks and reference areas. This morning, we had a Train the Trainer meeting for Xactimate tips and tricks. Shout out to Shane Howarth and John Glissmeyer at the Xactware Training Department for putting that together. One of the questions that came up was, how do I curve a deck? Because historically, if you drop in a room here and you go select any individual wall, you can go into the properties and turn that into an arched wall, and then go ahead and make it arched or arced. But unfortunately, when you try and go into the deck properties, you don't have that ability to curve and arc a deck. So the question was, how exactly would we be able to do this? First off, I want to drop in a room here, use my R key and drop in a room. And I am going to, before I add a deck or anything, I'm going to break out a small version of the wall. I'm going to show you two different ways to curve this part of the wall. So I'm going to hit B for break, and I'm going to drag and hold. So I have this section here, and I'm going to bring out this section just a little tiny bit here. Then I'm going to come into this top wall, and I'm going to turn this into an arced wall. Then I will hit yes, so it is arced, so I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Next, I'm going to hit Shift plus D for deck, that is the hotkey here. And note one, I should note that I have on a specific view here, the display validation right here, so that you can see when I'm trying to put a deck in certain areas, there's that red line saying when you click, sorry, that's not going to work. So before I even click and waste my time, I can tell that it wouldn't work over there, so I can put it right here, boom. I'm going to drop my deck there. Then I'm going to hold this. I'm going to try and bring it around this wall, this arced wall. Note that it won't let me naturally go past the arced wall first. I just got to get it to butt up against it. Then I can continue the technique, and it will continue to go. Interesting that it is pulling off the side here, because if I were then to try to come down here, yep, oh, too far, boom. Right there, now I am even, and I can keep going, although it thinks that I'm there. And I can keep straightening that out with the vertex tool there and drop this down around, bring the deck around. So that is the first way to create a curved deck. Now I can come in here, delete these walls that were extended out, and now I have a curved deck here. In the sense that I can at least use arched walls for a deck that is against a wall to create that arch cutout of the deck here. There's another technique here. That the reason that we started with the room, you'll note here, if I drop in another room, put in a deck, let's look at the whole wall. If I try to come to this individual wall now, and I try to go to arced wall, there is no arced wall option. So as soon as that deck is fully up against that wall, there's no ability to do this technique where you would have a curved wall. Let me show it again here. I prepared this room, and I want to zoom in on room 1 or 2 here. I'm going to drop in a room next to it. I am going to take this wall right here for room 4, and I'm going to arc it and make it big. Voila. Next, I'm going to hit Shift D, and I'm going to add a deck to the room next to it. Then I will bring it on over here, and you'll note that I can even go past further, and I can now delete this wall here. So now I have a cutout on this deck, and I can also move this deck away, and it will maintain that cutout here. Of note, if I were to copy this deck right here and paste it in, it does not maintain the cutout, and the cutout actually goes away from the original. So as long as you're not copying and pasting that deck, it should maintain the cutout that you've created using the arched wall technique here, using the room. One limitation that I noticed in preparation for this video, there is no way that I can find to manually bump out the deck so that it curves out instead of curving in. Now, you can hack this in many different ways. One way would be just to start using the vertex tool, and you can start to make a million different little turns here, and you would start to be able to make a kind of arched way that way. So you can always create a bunch of vertices and manually move it into a more curved rotation to reflect reality. But I wanted to show some techniques using rooms and arched walls to be able to cut out parts of decks or create at least curved sections of deck. The last technique I wanted to show here is over here with reference areas. So I'm going to delete this whole room, drop it back in again. I'm going to hit A for area, and I'm just going to click in the room so it fills up. You can see in the green here, fills up the entire area, fills up the entire room with my green reference block. Now here, I can go ahead and arc the wall. There is no limitation for this, and I will move this wall up, and you'll watch as the area goes with it. So now I have a specific area that is curved that if I wanted to, I could move this up a little bit. I could even move this out, and now I have a little curved area that I can put anywhere I want. I'm going to move it back in there so that we have this option. And one thing I was playing with earlier that I thought was pretty fun, let me pull in another deck here. I'll probably need to make this area smaller. And it won't even let me because I curved it first. Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure your measurements are tight. Let's go ahead and make the deck bigger. So I wanted to show some limitations here between decks, areas, and walls. So I can place this area inside the deck. Now, one thing you'll note is I can try to start adjusting the deck to the size of the area, but it will not naturally go past those curve lines. It will go right to the edge of it. And then I could start using that manual technique here. You'll see I'd have to use vertices along the way. Using V to vertex. Oh, V to vertex. And we'll go there. So you'd have to get even smaller here. Or really here. And start to go around that way. So you could start to create a curved deck off of an area with some tools there. The goal was to show here that you can curve decks in at least cutting out parts of decks, like this example here, using rooms and arced walls. As long as you put in the room first, you arc the wall first, then you can put a deck around it and drag over and across, as well as creating curved areas with the arced wall tool as well. Hopefully this helps and clean up some of the sketches and some of those unique angles and decks and areas that you come across in the property insurance environment. This has been another Xact Hack video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.